the functions of the commission are well outlined. And the IEBC went into this election properly apprised of its functions. And in fact, there was no inkling whatsoever that possibly by the end of the election, that the IEBC commissioners will be speaking at cross purposes. Now, it is in light of this that I'm sure it will be very instructive and helpful for the Supreme Court to help create a bridge or that interlink and finally settle this issue between Article 138, Sub-Article 10 of the Constitution and the IEBC Act. Because the IEBC Act provides that in discharging their mandate and making a decision that the IEBC commissioners or the commission will arrive at a decision in concurrence on by majority or by majority of the commissioners.
Right.
So what I'm sure that the Supreme Court may want to entertain itself with is whether, and we've deliberated on this, whether actually the declaration of results by IEBC amounts to a decision of the commission. So the commission, the Supreme Court may want to deal with this issue with finality, because we know very well that the Constitution is the grand norm and it is superior. So because it is the supreme law of the land, then its provisions cannot be challenged on any grounds. And in fact, we know very well that any statute that is at variance with the provision of a constitution, then, of course, we know that it's at issue. So question is, the Supreme Court finally ventilating on this issue of the work of the commissioners and the commission, especially with regard to declaration of the presidential results. Once this petition is dispensed with by the Supreme Court, I am sure that this matter will never rise again because the Supreme Court will give proper guidance, trust so, on this. Now, with regard to the battery of lawyers that have been assembled here, of course, we are looking forward to, to a very bruising, a ferocious and quite entertaining battle.
I will not be surprised to hear those words in court.
Yeah, and of course, in the end, let us be alive to the fact that if at all the Supreme Court will overturn the presidential results, the IEBC will stand seriously indicted. And remember that if the results are overturned, the law provides, the Constitution provides that a fresh election is to be conducted within the next 60 days. Now remember that in 2017, one of the reasons why Raila Odinga refused, and together the NASA, to go into that fresh presidential election was that he cannot agree to go to that fresh election with the IEBC constituted as such. Now, if at all the declaration of the court will be that the results were not accurate and did not portray the will of the voters, will we go to a fresh election within that 60-day period with the commission as it is constituted, with the commissioners speaking at cross purposes? Now, all these things, beyond just a question of the reforms that will be desirable of that commission, we may want to invite ourselves to very critical thinking about certain issues. One, that are we willing and ready to allow the commission to always to be independent as contemplated by the Constitution? Is it possible then that we give the requisite support to the commission without trying to interfere with its work? Because we know very well that an open, free, fair, and accountable election is the sine qua non of a democracy. The openness, the freeness of the elections in this country, as we've said, is a constitutional issue. And that's why when you look at the provisions of Article 186, provides mechanisms of how even the voting should be done, methodology, being simple, the methods being accurate. to the extent that any person participating in the election should feel that it's been easy for them to make a choice of the leader that they desire. And that's why, looking at all these things and how we want to strengthen our democracy, and even it's in fact very interesting that when all this was going on, countries across and friends across the continent, and even across the world, they were looking with great admiration at how Kenyans were running this election. Some even were wondering that Kenyans, a country in Africa, can have the forms 34A and B on a portal of an electoral body. I mean, it's not happened in any country in Africa. Mm-hmm. And really, we won the admiration of the world.
Have we lost it?
But, well, to a great extent, given the dispute that now has arose because of the presidential results, it has left not a very good taste in the mouth. And if at all then that the Supreme Court will uphold the election of Deputy President William Ruto as president-elect and affirms it as such, then that admiration would hold. But if not, then somebody would say that we came so far, did so well, but now, like they say where I come from, that the pot always breaks by the doorstep. And that will be now the situation that we find ourselves in.
Okay.
But then another perspective would be, if at all the election of Dr. William Ruto is upheld, then one would want to wonder that would Raila Odinga then have had the interest, yes, of course, of having the election verified, or would it be a comparable case of biblical Samson who wanted to go down with the Philistines?
Yet it is within his right to really petition